And what is it that the youth of today wants, Alan?
This gore type of blood and bullets and, death and being crushed and your brains coming out the ear and that skull with the dagger through and the snot. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's that death, gore, dismemberment, whole type of go for it type of thing. I mean, that's, after all, that is what skateboarding is all about.
Ever since Marty McFly invented skateboarding in November of 1955, pop culture has been obsessed with it.
Wow, look at him go!
Sure, you had to deal with your fair share of cops, rednecks, and dickheads, but it was all worth it for this dangerous, beautiful, and sometimes violent activity. This is Skateboarding in Hollywood. Skateboarding has been represented on the big and small screens for the last 40 plus years pretty consistently. Hollywood movies like Back to the Future, Clueless, The Amazing Spider-Man, Hook, Police Academy 4, Daddy's Home, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the good ones and the other ones, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and many others have represented skateboarding in one way or another.
Whoa.
There are movies with a dedicated skate storyline or lead character that's a skater, like Thrashin', Gleam in the Cube,
That was so rad.
The Wizard, Street Dreams, Kids, Glory Days, which has a fucking rad soundtrack, Deck Dogs, Paranoid Park, What's Up Rockers, Dish Dogs, and Hard Flip, to name a few. There have been biopics and stories based on real life like Lords of Dogtown, Skate Kitchen, and mid-90s. Even sitcoms and primetime TV have had their dose of skateboard moments and skaters.
My name is Earl.
And that's why movies featuring skateboarding and skateboarders is a rabbit hole I would love to jump down. And that's what this is about. The first theatrically released skateboard film was in 1965, and it was called Skater Dater. It was produced by Marshall Backler and written and directed by Noel Black. It won Best Short Film at the Cannes Film Festival in 1966 and was even nominated for an Academy Award. The storyline for Skater Dater is a group of skaters that spot a pretty girl and have to have a downhill duel for her love. It has since been inducted into the Academy Film Archive. In 1966, the National Film Board of Canada released a short propaganda film warning parents about the dangers and hazards of their children being exposed to skateboarding.
These are the remains of what was once a beautiful city. But the mind of man is as rich in evil as it is in good. And the same inventiveness which blessed us with insulin, electricity, the arts and engineering miracles of all sorts, has also cursed us with the sword, the gun, the bomb, and...
By the end of the 60s, skateboarding was up and running, and it already had a badass reputation.
The battle was won. For the moment, we are safe. But beware, the youth of the world is on the move, and their aim is to take over.
Right from the start, it was rebellious, dangerous, and perfect for children of all ages.
The professional, an expert at his sport, well-trained, well-prepared. He wears the proper protective gear. He rides a smooth course, one designed just for him. He maintains his equipment in top running condition. He knows the limits of his abilities, and to go beyond that may spell disaster. If skateboarding is your sport, treat it with all the respect of a professional. This message is provided by the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission.
In the 1970s, there were skateboarding competitions popping up all over the place for downhill and freestyle.
Skateboarding is now a new mode of motion.
here to stay. Long Beach, California, the site of the first World Professional Skateboard Championship.
There were also publications like Skateboarder magazine, previously known as the Quarterly Skateboarder, and it was available in local skate shops all over the USA. Other publications included the Nouveau Skateboard International and the National Skateboarding Review. In 1978, skateboarding was back on the big screen. Skateboard is the classic tale of a Hollywood producer who owes some bad dudes a bunch of money.
Oh, Solly, just give me a little more time. That's all I need. Just a little more time. I'm onto something real big, Solly.
Don't fool with me, Buddha Belly.
So he gets together a ragtag team of badass skaters.
Skateboards? Uh-huh. What do you mean? Those things that the kids ride around?
Signs them up for a downhill competition to win 20 grand. And of course, hijinks ensue. Starring Alan Garfield and Leif Garrett, with an appearance by Tony Elva.
Hey, you guys ever in the toilet bowl before?
Written by Dick Wolf. Yep, the cool motherfucker who brought you Law & Order and all 300 of its goddamn spin-offs. It's by no means a masterpiece, but it begins Hollywood's fascination with skateboarding in the movies. And it's worth a watch just for historical reasons. Then the 80s hit, like a swift kick to the dick sack.
Behold the amazing skateboard, one of the few toys capable of turning parents prematurely gray, sending kids off the wall, and medical bills into the wild blue yonder, sometimes all at once. 25 years ago, it started out as one more of those California fads. Now, it's the sleeper gift of Christmas '87.
Be doing drugs, we could be in like gangs and stuff, but this is our way of fun, skateboarding. It's pretty cool.
There were great publications like Transworld and the Golden Voice itself, Thrasher. There were video games like California Games, Skateboarding, 720 Degrees, Town and Country Surf Designs, and the legendary Skate or Die. God damn it, Lester. Skating was even on primetime TV, with Stacy Peralta popping up in Charlie's Angels and Saint Elsewhere. The 80s also saw some amazing skateboard movies released.
Hey Serge, look at that.
Kyle, it's skateboard punk.
Let's nail him.
Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol, featuring Steve Cavallero, Tony Hawk, Mike McGill, Tommy Guerrero, Chris Miller, and Lance Mountain. I gotta mention Back to the Future. Even though it's not a skateboard-themed movie, it depicts a historically significant moment. Skateboarding was invented by Marty McFly in November of 1985. Also, Back to the Future 2 teased us all with the hoverboards, which we're still waiting for.
Thanks a lot, kid.
The 80s started with 1980's release of Skateboard Madness. It doesn't have much of a plot, but there's some cool vintage skating and music by a long-forgotten 70s pop-punk band, the Surf Punks. It's worth watching for cultural and historical relevance. Also talking 80s, Rad has to be mentioned. It's not really a skateboard movie, but it made every kid in the 80s want to start a BMX gang and terrorize their town. It was also a bit of a blueprint for future movies and the popularity of the X Games, which would be around about a decade later. In 1986, Thrashin' was released, starring motherfucking Thanos himself, Josh Brolin. Thrashin' is basically Romeo and Juliet on skateboards, but god damn it's great. And rewatching it now just proves why it's such an 80s classic. It also features the Joust. Fuck you, Lester. It features skating cameos from Tony Elva, Tony Hawk, Mike McGill, and Steve Cavallero.
I'll take it to a playground to watch it show.
Crashin' even features an old school Red Hot Chili Peppers ripping it the fuck up in a punk rock club.
Heard about this ramp. It's in this field between two junkyards, just south of a town called Guadalupe.
In 1987, the Bones Brigade tried to add a plot to their upcoming skate film, and the search for Animal Chin was born. This movie may not be the greatest.
Check it out. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. It was like a skate god must have skated on this thing or something.
That being said, it had rad haircuts, and the Bones Brigade ripping it up and basically skating everything.
Did a lean air over the channel, up the extension, and grinding on it. Cab did a boneless from the extension over the channel. Like, that stuff is still heavy.
Chin is just like a mythical person to represent fun. It's been 30 years, we're still searching for him on a daily basis.
Talking the 80s, you gotta mention The Wizard, starring Fred Savage and Christian Slater. It was every 80s kid's dream: skateboarding and video games. Watching it back now makes me want to throw on some classic Vision streetwear, grab a fat deck with some big wheels, maybe play some Super Mario Bros. 3. And the Power Glove still fucking sucks.
What is that? Power glove. Yeah, well, just keep your power gloves up front, right?
Also in 1989, Hollywood released Gleaming the Cube, starring Christian Slater, who basically starred in every Wicked movie in the late 80s and early 90s. Classics like Pump Up the Volume, True Romance, Heathers, and of course, he's in The Wizard. I cannot say enough good shit about this movie. It's a skateboarding crime conspiracy movie, and features a dude who lives underground, has a mini ramp in his room, and builds sweet ass skateboards. The skating is fucking awesome, and features almost everybody worth note from the 80s. Tony Hawk, Mike McGill, Gator, Rich Dunlop, Eric Dressen, Lance Mountain, Mike Vallely, Tommy Guerrero, and of course, Rodney fucking Mullen. By the end of the 80s, subcultures were making their way into Hollywood all over the place, and the 90s was just gonna get crazier. Classic skate videos were being released all over the goddamn place, like Welcome to Hell, Video Days, The End, and Secondhand Smoke. These 90s skate videos had great soundtracks and sweet skateboarding. Magazines like Thrasher and Transworld were still going strong, and new magazines that had a little bit more edge like Big Brother were popping up on newsstands. In the early 90s, skateboarding was aggressive, violent, and even illegal in some places. But by the end of the decade, it would be mainstream as fuck, with the Warped Tour and X Games taking the world by storm. Also by the end of the decade, skateboarding would be revolutionized with video games like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Everyone spent hours and hours of their lives playing that. Skateboarding was popping up in all sorts of 90s flicks, like the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Hook, The Crow, Clueless, Encino Man, and the often overlooked PCU. Pro skater Jason Lee started acting, and some classic 90s Kevin Smith flicks like Dogma, Chasing Amy, and Mallrats.
You face forward, or you face the possibility of shock and damage. Where the hell did that come from? What's going on here?
And of course later it would be all over TV.
My name is Earl.
There were family skateboard movies like The Skateboard Kid and A Skateboard Kid 2. In 1995, there were 2 movies that stood out as far as skateboarding being represented in Hollywood was concerned. Kids. Although there isn't much skateboarding in this movie, it features a group of skate kids as the main characters. It's gritty as fuck, and I still believe it should be shown in schools today. It's very intense and very influential, and everyone should see it at least once. For me, a hidden gem of the 90s was definitely Glory Days. It was billed as Animal House for the 90s. It's not amazing, but it's 90s as fuck, and I personally love it.
Hey, I really like that hate t-shirt. The whole angry young man, black thing, generation, you know what I mean? It's cool.
Yeah, it's the name of a comic book. Can I borrow your pen 1 second?
Absolutely.
Happy now, cocksucker?
It was written by Rich Wilkes, who also wrote the classic Airheads.
I'm gonna stab your heads off!
With what? With what?
With my dick! Yeah!
Looking back now, the cast is absolutely fucking insane. It stars Ben Affleck, Sam Rockwell, French Stewart, Alyssa Milano, Megan Ward, John Rhys Davis, and has some insane cameos from Brendan Fraser, Leah Remini,
Who do you think? Doug.
Matthew McConaughey, playing the greatest white trash car salesman character you will ever see.
This machine for you. I don't say that because I read it in some goddamn manual. I say that from grade A numero uno, champion experience, all right? I mean, the missus a couple weeks ago come in here in this here particular machine. Her mother rode along with us. We got here 10 minutes later. Hell, they hit the road. I ain't seen her since. I don't know. God damn it. What it's all about, but... Anyway, back to the truck.
And Matt fucking Damon.
Hey. Oh, Edgar. There's been a terrible mistake here. See this party? This party was last weekend, Edgar. The party is over. They've already cleaned up all the cups. Sorry.
It's about Ben Affleck's character, Jack, spending his final days of college living in a punk rock house with his roommates.
Up the academy.
They break shit. They reunite the band. They fuck shit up. They go for a skate.
You wanna get a Clover and shred?
The score was written by Joe Escalante and performed by the goddamn Vandals and a whole bunch of great 90s punk rock bands. Glory Days is a great time capsule look into the 90s.
What if what I got going is the best I'm ever gonna get? You'd be stupid not to make it last. I was beginning to think, hey, fuck it. One more spin on the merry-go-round, slick. I'll pay you Tuesday.
By the end of the 90s, skateboarding was bigger than ever before.
Let me get a skateboard. Which one do you want? I don't care, they're all the same shape.
The 2000s was a golden age for skateboarding in mainstream media. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was king, Warped Tour was killing it every summer, and skateboarding was popping up in movies and TV all over the place.
Chicken selects from McDonald's.
With the reality show craze at an all-time high, Hollywood was looking for anything and everything with a little bit of edge.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
Hollywood would go balls out with skateboard movies. Movies like Dish Dogs, Freddy Got Fingered, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World had skateboarding scenes. Even Paul Blart Mall Cop featured Mike Vallely, who was also seen later in The Hangovers 1 and 2. Before we get started on the new millennium, I have to mention 2001's MVP 2, Most Vertical Primate. MVP 2 is a children's movie about a monkey that skateboards. It's a fucking monkey and it's skateboarding. How can you not like this? It's a monkey and it skateboards. Skateboarding monkey. Plus in MVP 1, there's a hockey dude who's wearing a Skull Skates beanie. In 2003, we got Grind. The things you can say and not say about this movie. It is about skateboarding, there's skaters, and there's some pretty sweet skate scenes. Bad guys are stereotyped for rich suburban white kids who want to be gangsters.
Hey, yo, check the list, bro. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Yo, come on, now you know who we are. Don't you know who we think we are, girl? Come on.
This movie has a Bam Margera cameo.
I don't want you here, okay? The last thing I need on this tour is some haggard-ass chick lurking around.
Where he plays a dick.
Not that big of a dick.
Dude, dang.
The weirdest fucking Tom Green cameo I have ever seen.
It's going there.
Jimmy Wilson demo.
The demo.
Check this cut. Excuse me. We're here for Jimmy's demo, Jimmy Wilson.
Do you know Jimmy?
Jimmy was gnarly. Jimmy was Jimmy. Jimmy was, off the hook. Off the hook. You know? Jimmy was...
Yup.
It was awesome, dudes.
At least there's some featured skating by Bob Burnquist and Bucky Lasek. It's not great, it's not terrible, and we should just be happy that another movie about skateboarding exists. Also in 2003, Bam Margera released Haggard.
Dude! She got fingered!
Part plot, part skate montage, and part him video. If you were a fan of Bam or CKY, you know you watched the fuck out of this.
What the hell are you doing?
There's actually quite a bit of skating. Haggard is definitely a far better movie than his 2008 follow-up, Ming Hags. No! In 2005, Columbia Pictures released Lords of Dogtown. Fresh off the success of the inspirational and amazing documentary, Dogtown and Z-Boys. Everyone knows the story, but this movie is still a must-watch for all skateboard fans and skaters.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you.
There are street sequences.
It's late September and I really should be back at school.
Cool sequences.
I know I keep you amused, but I feel I'm being used. Oh, Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore.
70s skateboard competitions.
You led me away from home just to save you from being alone. You stole my heart, and that's what really hurt.
It tells the story of the birth of a subculture that is so important to so many people. There are cameos from the original Z-Boys, and of course, Tony Hawk.
Can I try that? Yeah, thanks. That's a little harder than it looks.
Lords of Dogtown is fucking killer.
Zephyr parties are great.
Deck Dogs came out in 2005. It's the usual story about badass skate kids who want to get sponsored and meet Tony Hawk. It's got some good skating, some cool action, and Tony Hawk skates a bowl.
Out just for blinds, but I'm rolling as fast as the speed of time. Every grain of sand to count the time until, while all these stand here on dry land, I'm way out there still. Came to ride a new way. We're turning the work back into play. You see through me as I go. I'm missing you more than you even know. I do. With every grain of sand to count the time until, while all these stand here on dry land. Tony Hawk.
If you can track it down, give it a watch. It's a great way to waste a couple hours on a dog day afternoon. Paranoid Park came out in 2007 and is directed by Gus Van Sant. The main character is a skater, and there were scenes shot at the legendary Burnside Park in Portland. I don't want to give much away, but this movie is intense and super serious. It's artsy as fuck, and it doesn't make you feel good or want to rewatch it anytime soon. There's also a French action film called Skate or Die. I haven't seen it, but based on the trailers, I would watch the fuck out of it.
Mais vous avez braqué Sarko ou quoi?
Je sautais sur un immeuble voisin, il s'enfuit.
C'est eux?
Ou toi?
Street Dreams was released in 2009. There's some good skating, and it's really well shot. Anyone who grew up skateboarding in a small town can relate to a lot of parts of this movie.
If you don't get out of here right now, I'm gonna call the cops, okay?
Dude, you're gonna waste their time. What are you gonna tell them? Officer, I got some skaters back here. Come get them immediately.
A lot of people hate this flick, but it's about skateboarding, so I recommend you give it a goddamn watch. Also in 2009, there was a weird indie film called Macho Tail Drop. It was written and directed by Corey Adams and premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival.
What does this have to do with skateboarding, Walter?
I don't know.
And it's fucking weird and awesome. Just get fucked up and watch it. You won't regret it.
Why are you in my bath?
By 2010, skateboarding, the world, and filmmaking had changed, and things were about to get interesting.
Some cute little tricks there, Dusty. Really adorable.
Rad?
Hey, who'd like to see how we used to do it back in the empty pools of Encino, Castaic, Irvine, Long Beach, Santa Clarita, Santa Cruz, Fremont?
By 2010, skateboarding was definitely no stranger to video games, television, and Hollywood, and it was only going to continue. Even pro wrestling has embraced a skater character named Darby Allin. His name is a tribute to punk rock legend Darby Crash and piece of shit Gigi Allen. Skateboarding was all up in movies like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Daddy's Home, yep, that's Tony Hawk ripping it the fuck up, Mommy, The Land, Three Generations, Triple X, and even Spidey was skating. 2012's Hard Flip. I guess it's not a bad movie, it's just not my thing. It's depressing as fuck, and really just makes you feel like shit. It does have a skate character, and there are some skate scenes. It definitely deserves to be in the conversation. Go watch it, and judge it for yourself. You're just not gonna feel awesome after watching it. 2018 was a great year for skateboarding being represented in the film.
What the fuck is that?
This is Tony Alva. He's my animal therapy rat.
Why is he here?
Skate Kitchen. Skate Kitchen is based on a real crew of skaters in New York City. It's a great story and shows that skateboarding and skate culture runs so much deeper than just a hobby or a pastime. It's a place where misfits can find friends and feel accepted. It's funny, it's heartfelt, and it hits you at every point.
Hey, can you do an ollie?
No, bro, I'm a poser.
Skate Kitchen is a must-watch, and you will not regret it.
fuck shit.
What's up?
Would you rather suck your dad dick or eat your mom out?
You would suck your dad's dick, right?
Mid-90s. This movie kicked me right in the fucking nutsack. It's written and directed by Jonah Hill and based on the fucking awesome documentary, Minding the Gap. This movie will hit hard for anyone who was a skater in the 90s. It'll remind you of your crew, growing up, and all the dumb shit that you did, and all the fun you had skateboarding.
Hey! Y'all not supposed to be around here. Get the fuck out. Hey, come here.
Shut up!
Don't throw rocks at me.
Fuck you.
Little man, get the fuck off the property, all right?
Bitch!
Hey, come here.
Sunburn, what are you doing?
Don't get fucked up like the rest of these little niggas. Come here.
Sunburn is a rental cop.
Get you fucked up. Come here.
You're not even a real cop. Sunburn! Stevie! This nigga's a rental cop.
Hey, no, come here.
Sunburn, do you rent a cop?
Fuck you, nigga. I make more than all you.
Nigga.
Yeah, fuck you.
What the fuck you doing skating with these white boys? Niggas don't skate. Your surf's up, motherfucker. That's who you think you are?
Hey, the little nigga with the Toys R Us badge, come here.
You can't say nigga, I don't think. You fucking Sheryl Crow looking motherfucker.
And it really connects with finding the culture you love and the people that accepted you.
So let me ask you a question, man. What y'all doing with the skating?
I just have fun skating. It's like, it makes me happy and smile, so I just skate every day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
Yeah, it's fun as hell, but I'm trying to make a way.
Oh, okay. You can do that with skating?
Yeah, if you focus,
Oh,
it's
damn.
pros. I want to be one of them.
That seems crazy to me that you could get a job skating.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, man, maybe I should have started skating.
The acting is on point, and it's written with heart that bleeds all over the page and stays true and respects the source material. This is a movie for all the 90s skaters with a message that couldn't be more important today.
I skate. I fuck bitches.
Dang.
I'm pretty much the shit.
The future of skateboarding in Hollywood and on TV is looking bright.
These kids, Jeffrey, are spiraling into serious crime.
This is the greatest thrill of my life! I'm king of the world!
Well, if it's so easy, why don't you try it?